Welcome to Unconscious Bias in the Workplace. The key learning objectives for today's session: understanding what unconscious bias is, recognizing some of your own biases, tackling unconscious bias in the workplace. What is unconscious bias? Unconscious bias occurs when you make spontaneous judgments about people or situations based on your past experiences, culture, background, or exposure to the media. These hidden preferences or prejudice can affect nearly every decision you make. This is because an unconscious bias can exist without you even being aware of it. Some of the unconscious biases could be age, seniority, mental ability, sexual orientation, income, religion, gender, culture, education, physical ability, upbringing, ethnicity. All of these could hinder or create unconscious biases. Who makes the coffee for meetings? Quite often in my past experiences, we always had an administrative assistant who always made the coffee prior to a meeting, and we just took it for granted that she would do that. And that was just an unconscious bias that we all had. Who should be able to leave early to pick up the kids? Another one of those things. Quite often we see that there's certain people that are allowed to leave early, and others that don't have kids can't leave. Who takes the leave to look after a new baby? I've heard it over and over again where we're seeing husbands take the leave of absence and actually building it into their contracts, work contracts. But in the past, quite often it's just been expected that the woman would take the leave of absence to look after the new baby. Let's look at some other examples. This is a good one. Help, my video is upside down. When YouTube launched their application, their first app for YouTube, 5 to 10 of the videos were uploaded upside down. Google engineers had to inadvertently design the app for right-handed users. They never considered the fact that the phones were usually rotated 180 degrees when held in a user's left hand. She's not great with computers. Assigning a project with a significant technical component. The best choice is Gen Ys, not baby boomers, right? This could be an accurate assumption, but it is not always the case. Evaluating competencies by age is a common mistake. This candidate sounds great. Resumes are a common source of unconscious bias. In one study, managers are given a set of identical resumes where only the name has been changed. Resumes with Anglo-sounding names receive substantially more callbacks than those with diverse names. Let's look at our own biases. What is the safer mode of transportation? A car or a jet? The chances of dying in a vehicle accident is 1 in 84, as opposed to 1 in 5,000 of dying in an airplane crash. What are you most afraid of? Mosquito, lion, shark? The World Health Organization estimates that more than 1 million people will die due to mosquito bites. Statistics show us that we are more likely to be hit by a falling coconut than be attacked by a shark. Who's more competent? The smoker was German Chancellor for 8 years, Helmut Schmidt. Martin Henderson is a New Zealand actor who plays Dr. Riggs in Grey's Anatomy. He might be a competent actor, but he's certainly not a competent doctor. Here's an example. You're managing a new software development that your company has developed. Already 50,000 and a lot of time has been invested to date. Unfortunately, the software program was unsuccessful in the initial launch, and it may not have the initial ROI that was projected. The software was already updated twice to make it more customer friendly. One of your team members has another idea and asks for 5,000 to give it another shot. What do? Support his idea and increase the investment to 55,000? Deny the project and end it. Let's look at the facts. You already spent $50,000. 5,000 equals 10% of the 50,000. You invested lots of time. The product launch was initially unsuccessful in the market. It was already updated 2 times before, but to no avail. One of the big problems in project management is not knowing when to stop. This can ruin an entire business. The bias is that once one has reached a certain degree of engagement, meaning investment of time, money, interest, etc., the value of the subject increases, and one will have a harder time letting go. What will you do? Support his idea could turn the project around, but also limit new projects, limit resources, increase further investment, increase frustration, can lead to demotivation. Deny the request and ending of the project enables you to focus on new projects, use your resources for other opportunities, use future money to invest in something else, learn from your mistakes, and avoid further frustration. Learn your own biases. Recognizing your unconscious bias is tricky. One tool to help you evaluate is Harvard University's implicit association test. I will leave a link at the end of this session so that you can download the link and take the test yourself. How do we address unconscious bias in the workplace? 1, make sure you and your team understand exactly what unconscious bias is, when it happens, and the ways in which it can impact your objectives. Identify clearly and actionable steps that your team can take when they recognize behavior that should be challenged. Create a workplace where employees are encouraged to speak freely about a topic and where they are open to discuss. Commitment to becoming aware of your unconscious bias. Stop, think, and act. Unconscious bias is like wearing sunglasses that a person wears. Everything you see through them is tinted. If we remove our sunglasses and focus our attention on our self-awareness, we will be able to see more clearly. Don't shy away from identifying your unconscious biases. Boldly lean into them and identify where your unconscious bias manifests in the workplace and start migrating their impact. Let's get started. Thank you.